This is the story of two men, one in Boston and the other in Singapore, and how they came together to perform a magical duet with their bare hands and some iMovie chops. Boston man opens the metronome app on his wife's phone and sets it to 84 beats per minute. 1, 2, 1, 2. Boston man reviews his own performance. He is satisfied and he says,
It's good.
He emails his performance as an attachment to Singapore. Singapore man views the performance on his phone. He is impressed and he says,
It's good.
and he records his own performance on his iPad while listening to Boston man on his headphones. This is the iMovie screen. This is an empty project right now. We click on this big button, Import Media, and import the two files that matter to us, Boston Man Guitar 2 and Singapore Man Guitar 1. We import the selected files. Those two files appear here. Okay, this is the timeline in which everything happens, this area. Right now it's empty, so we first drag the Singapore Man right over here and drop it. This is the Singapore Man video clip, and if I go to the beginning and press the space bar, and I press the spacebar again to stop. That's the first thing to note. Obviously, whatever is playing here, you can see it over here on the big screen. On the clip itself, vertically is divided into two parts. The major portion is the video part over here, and the minor portion is the blue part, which is the audio part. The blue part has a white horizontal line running through it, and the blue part also seems to contain a lot of mountains, hills and valleys all over. That's the audio form of our guitar. So this white line, if you were to hover near the white line, you get an up and down arrow, and you can use it to go down to cut the volume or go up to increase the volume. So if I make it 0, and if I press the space bar now, you're going to see the video, but you're not going to hear any audio. So let's leave it at that. The other thing right now is this button next to the left of the word settings controls the magnification of what you see here. If I pull it to the right, it expands horizontally, and if I pull it to the left, it kind of contracts completely. So we'll just expand it just that bit so that when we go back, we can reasonably see the whole clip at a glance. Let's leave it like this for now, this clip with the 0 setting, which means the volume is muted for the Singapore Man. Let's go and drag the other guy, the Boston Man, and get him here and put him in the front and play. and let's get back to the front and press the space bar. Right now, only the Boston guy will play because the Singapore man's audio is 0.
1, 2, 1, 2.
So you can see that the Boston man's audio starts with a count in with 1 2 1 2. We really don't need that right now. The other guy doesn't have it, and even this guy shouldn't. So let's go back to the beginning of the clip, magnify it as much as we can so that we can see these forms. You can practically see the form. This first mountain, the second mountain, the third mountain, the fourth mountain is basically the guy saying 1 2 1 2. Check this out.
1 2 1 2.
So the music begins here. So what we do is, since the clip is already selected, we can tell because there is a yellow line surrounding the clip. Whichever clip you select, if I click on the bottom clip, that gets the yellow line, which means that's a selected clip. If I go back to the top and click that clip, then that clip is selected because of the yellow line around. We go to the very end of the clip and you get these right and left facing arrows, and if I were to push them along or drag them in, I can get to the point where I just come to the beginning of the music. So if I were to play from here, we've essentially got rid of the 1 2 1 2 and the music just starts from here. So now let's raise the volume of the other one so that we can see the hills and valleys. I'll get it back to 100%, which is the original volume. And now I will drag this so that the beginning of this music, the waveforms, is aligned more or less with the waveform. Can you see this? This waveform where the music starts is aligned with this waveform. So if I were to play from here, it should most probably be aligned. Can go back. I can fine tune this however much I want to by sort of pulling and pushing a little bit, but essentially that's the job. Now because there is a bit of a hang over here and we want both the videos to start simultaneously, I will choose the bottom clip and close it in till I get to match these two, the beginnings of both the clips. So if I were to play from the beginning right now, that's fine. So let me get back. And now I find that the top clip is overflowing past the length of the bottom clip. So I can again do the same thing of using this and getting it back. So right now the beginnings and ends and the music is aligned. Of course, this is just the audio. What is happening on the video is whatever is the top, the clip on top, that's what gets to be seen here. The bottom clip, for all purposes, the Singapore man is non-existent. I can play it from anywhere and you will see only the Boston man playing. Yeah. So now that we have the audio in tune and in time, we need to now look at the video. Now one thing before we leave the audio part, if I were to play the audio right now, listen to the relative volume of the two guitars. Okay, you might want to reduce the accompanying guitar a little bit. And you can drag that volume line to maybe say around 60%. And get the melody line on top. Yeah. So once that is done, what we are really going to be doing is concentrate on the video, for which we select the top clip, which is the Boston Man clip, and come over here where all these video control buttons are. We just need only one of them. The leftmost one, if I hover over that, it says Video Overlay Settings. If I click on that, it has these drop-down options of cutaway, green, blue screen, split screen, picture in picture. I will now choose the split screen option. And instantly, I get a split screen. I can go here and increase the video part of the screen. And now if I were to go back, the timeline, the cursor is moved to the far left. If I were to press the space bar to play, essentially the job is done. We have the Singapore man and the Boston man playing on two halves of the screen from wherever they are without the use of a green screen at all.